All right, here we go for our study guide. Someone reminded me on the last video, Mr. Bullens, you did not say to smash the like button and subscribe, so I'm saying it now. Smash the like button and subscribe. Right? That should be awesome.
Smash that like that.
Exactly. Now,
Hit that bell.
this is extremely important. We have a chance on this test to all score very high, and I have extremely high expectations. I'm talking like 85 and above class averages, because as I go through this, I think you're going to realize very quickly that that's not an unrealistic expectation. Again, we're going to interact with all of these just like we would anything else. Which comparison? Now, every time that we've had one of these, I've said, I can identify the specific biotic and abiotic factors of an ecosystem and what makes them unique. Now we're comparing two things. Which comparison of ecosystems is true? Okay. Tundras are warmer than grasslands. Raising your hand, tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when I say the word tundra, or maybe the first sentence that comes to your mind. Callie. It's the coldest of all the biomes. Would the coldest of all biomes be warmer than anything else? No. Then that answer makes no sense whatsoever. Grasslands get more rain than deserts. What have we learned about deserts? Deserts are what, Maddie? Dry with very little rain. Grasslands get some rain, but they're kind of dry. But do they get more rain than a desert? No. Yes. I like this answer, but I'm going to check all of them because there might be an answer that's worse or better than that, not worse than that. Deserts have more plants than rainforests. Raise your hand and give me a fact about rainforests and plants, Gavin. Exactly. They have a ton of plants in the rainforest. Matter of fact, the rainforest, as we read, has half of the world's plant and animal life. Can that be the answer? No. A desert has more plants. A desert doesn't have a lot of plants. Rainforests are rockier than tundras. Boys and girls, raise your hand if you could tell me how we describe the soil of the tundra. You just wrote this down, Kinsley. And? It's very rocky.
Wait, that's the taiga.
And the tundra.
Oh,
It's rocky. There's not as much. I mean, we said the rainforest. We saw it today. We were there. It's muddy. There's a lot of dirt down there. That can't be the answer. Are you seeing how this is really not super difficult to maneuver through? Compared to the last test, which had answers that they all sounded good, this one is different. All right. Tropical rainforest. Now, I'm not going to read any of the stuff down here yet because I want to talk about this. Raising your hand, tell me some facts about tropical rainforest. Jason.
It's really, really wet.
It's very rainy in the rainforest. All right? Rainy. Give me another fact about the rainforest that we've learned today about the tropical rainforest.
A lot of plants.
A lot of plants and animals. Okay, keep going. Raising your hand. We got lots of trees. What else?
It holds half of our plant life.
Half the plant life?
Animal life.
What else did we learn today about the tropical rainforest? Edgardo.
Very low light.
The canopy. The canopy doesn't allow a lot of light down, right?
Nope.
At the bottom. Let's see if our notes help us. They are only found in South America.
Nope.
There's a lot, but that's not the only place they're found. Only a few species of plants and animals. That's the complete opposite of what Jason said. The tree canopy causes a small amount of light to reach the ground.
Yes.
Well, we just wrote that down. Each organism in a rainforest can be found in a deciduous forest? Boys and girls, if you can walk out into my forest across the thing here and find a toucan and a jaguar, you don't have to come back to my class this year because it's not going to happen.
Wait, really? I'm going to...
No, not really.
What if I do?
Then I would worry about you. All right. Here we go. This is one of those questions that I said you've got to be very careful with because they put a vocabulary word in the question assuming you know what that means. Which terrestrial, raise your hand and tell me what terrestrial means, Addie. Which land ecosystem, I'm going to stop there. Of the 4 choices, which one can I eliminate already because it's definitely not a land ecosystem. It's an aquatic. Estuary. Good job, Addie. Which land ecosystem has warm, humid conditions and a large variety of plants and animals? Would that be a grassland?
No.
There's not a lot of plants and animals in the grassland. There's grass and some animals, but not a large variety. Now I'm down to deciduous forest and tropical rainforest. Is a deciduous forest always warm and humid?
No.
Trust me, I stayed after chopping down trees like last week. It was definitely warm and humid in the deciduous forest. And there were lots of animals, but it's not always. Is it always that in the rainforest?
Yes.
Do they have a large variety of plants and animals?
Yes.
Do you see how rainforest is the better of the answers? Again, are we struggling with any of these? No, because you know this. These are easy. Now, when I read this one, which ecosystem receives the least amount of precipitation? I've had this happen every year. A student raises their hand. Mr. Bullens, desert's not on here. Where's D? There is no D. But that can't be true. The deserts have the least amount of precipitation. Of all of them, yes, but I need you to compare these 3 because we've said we can compare all of the different biomes. So now, there's one of these I'm taking off real quick. Which one of these would never fall into the least amount of water rainfall? Stacy. Which one would definitely not be the answer, though? Because it has the most amount of rain every year. Tropical rainforest. Now, I have estuaries and I have grasslands. Which one of those places did we say could possibly be dry and maybe have fires that burn things down? Nelson. The grassland. Exactly. And the estuary is it is a water place. It rains there, but it's different at different times of the year because they're not all at the same place. I told you would see this question, and I'm guaranteeing you're going to see it on the test. It may not be this exact question, but I know this word's going to show up a lot. What best explains adaptations needed for organisms living in an estuary? Raise your hand and tell me what type of water I find in an estuary. Gianna. Brackish water. Somebody tell me what in the world brackish means because Mr. Bullen didn't study, and he has no idea what that means. Olivia.
It means that, like, when salt water and fresh water get mixed together.
That's a mix of salt and fresh water, exactly. So, should that organism be adapted to live in salt water?
No.
Yes. They better be able to live in salt water. Should they be able to live in fresh water?
Yes.
Well, wait a minute. Both of those answers are good.
But see what's
Ha! They must be adapted to live in both fresh water and salt water. Boys and girls, I went back and looked at last year's test. 28 children missed this question. They all answered A. And I know what they did. They just read the answer, said, "Ooh, salt water, that's the answer." And they didn't read the rest of the questions. Slow down. Slow down. If Ashlyn is still working, I'm not going to start teaching. So you have time to sit and study and think about these questions. Don't rush through them. Clara says her school is in a desert. Which fact about her schoolyard most helps her claim? The schoolyard has few trees. Would that describe a desert? Few trees. Yeah, sure. Rocks and sand. Sure. Warm in the summer. No, it's hot there, right? Gets little rain during the year. Which one of those most helps her? Ashlyn. D, most helps her. So you guys are going to crush this thing tomorrow. I know it. And then you're going to demolish your books. And you're going to come in. You're going to have like fantastic grades. Now I'm asking you a really wild question. But I don't want to do it in red. Not red. How are all ecosystems similar to a forest? All ecosystems have plenty of trees for consumers to eat. Name 2 ecosystems that do not have trees. Kevin.
Tundra and desert.
Tundra, desert, grassland, all great answers. Nope. All ecosystems provide nutrient-rich soil for producers.
No.
Not the what?
Desert.
Sandy and hot tundra or the desert. Again, that's eliminating that. All ecosystems provide diverse populations of small animals that consumers can eat. That's such a well-written answer that I want that to be the answer because it sounds so sophisticated. All ecosystems have small animals that consumers can eat.
Yes.
Maybe. That's not a bad answer. All ecosystems have an appropriate amount of sunlight to support the producers that live there.
Yes. Yeah.
If that wasn't true, then none of this other stuff would work. D's the best answer. D is the best answer. Now, who remembers when Mr. Bullens had that entire slide on ospreys? Oh, gee, I wonder why that was there. Ospreys are birds that eat fish. Where would an osprey most likely live? They eat fish. Would they live in a forest?
No.
In a marsh?
No.
Maybe. In the desert?
No.
In a prairie?
No.
Prairie's a grassland. No. Not hard. You've got this. How are a tropical rainforest and a pond similar? They both have large amounts of trees. In a pond. Yeah, no. They both have producers and consumers.
Yeah.
I like that answer. They both have the same plants and animals. No fish in the rainforest. No toucans in the pond.
Mr. Bullens?
All right, boys and girls, let's knock out a couple more here. What would best survive in a freshwater ecosystem with frogs, turtles, and salamanders? All right. When your parents eat clams, where are they typically? Raise your hand and tell me. Chaz. At a what restaurant? Seafood restaurant. When your parents eat crabs, they are typically at a seafood restaurant. Now, can you get oysters at a seafood restaurant?
Yes.
Typically snails, I guess a French restaurant, but we don't really eat those a lot around here. Escargot, right?
Yep.
See how easy that is? Be honest, raise your hand. Who's poured salt on a snail? Oh my goodness gracious. We're all terrible people. Here we go.
I've never done that.
Which is most similar to a grassland? Grassland has a lot of what in it, Ashlyn?
Grass.
A lot of grass. Would a lake be similar to a grassland?
No.
Would a plain?
Yeah.
Maybe. Would a forest?
No.
All right. Think we got time for one more, maybe two more. Bluebirds like to live near open grassy places. Where would you most likely find a bluebird? Would you find a bluebird at a dam?
No.
That's the thing that blocks water from moving. That's overwatered. No. Would you find a bluebird in a grassy place at the beach? No. How about a field, like a baseball field or a football field?
No.
Maybe. The parking lot.
Well, it depends on what parking lot it is.
Typical parking lot.
True. Okay.
I got 40 seconds. Here we go.
You can do it.
Screech owls make nests in holes in trees. They eat mice and crickets. Where would a screech owl most likely live? Would I find a screech owl in a tree in a nest at the beach?
No.
In a forest?
No.
You wouldn't find a tree in the forest? Maybe. In the desert?
No.
In a rainforest?
No.
Your best answer is B. Everybody ready for the test?
Totally.
Yes.